Hey everybody, hope everybody's having a great week. This is my week 5 discussion for Patricia Kuhl's TED Talk on the linguistic genius of babies. I like this one for a couple different reasons. One, I'm a visual learner, so I really appreciated all the graphs and visuals she had in her talk. It's definitely helped me, stay engaged and made it interesting for me. But kind of the more important thing is is relatable to my current life situation. My wife and I have a couple kids, a couple young kids, 4.5-year-old son and an 11-month-old baby girl. So they fall kind of right into that early years that she talks about there. A couple of things I thought were really interesting, kind of surprised me, was how there was such a difference going from 6 to 8 months to that 10 to 12 month period when you compared English to Japanese and then English to Mandarin, and how there was such a different discrepancy, between those different comparisons. I would have just figured that, as kids were around whatever language it may be, maybe that's, they're in their household growing up or whatever. I figured that it would have just been the same across the board. How she broke it down. She talked about I think she called it like the Japanese R and the L's. I thought that was interesting because I wouldn't have thought of it like that. I would have just figured that, like I said, they would have been straight across the board. You're surrounded by a language, immersed in a language, and you're just kind of learning at the same pace. So I thought that was very interesting. Another part I thought was really interesting and surprising was, it was surprising to a point. I mean, I know I've always heard, it's easier to learn a language earlier on than later on in life, and I was not around a second language growing up. I think I took Spanish for a couple semesters in high school, and I've retained very little of it. But it was interesting to see how much of a fall off there is at, like, I think 7 years old, and I wonder if there is. A piece of that is, around that age, kids are, really, they're going to school full time, obviously, and, they've got, kinder first, or, second grade right in there around that under their belt. And, I'm wondering if part of that is just like all the inputs they're getting at that, it's starting to get at that age, they're learning different, math and writing and reading and science and history and all that sort of stuff. And I wonder if kind of all that inputs is just kind of overload, and so that's why learning that second language, you see that fall off. I mean, I just look at, like, my son, who's 4.5 now. He's not in kindergarten yet. He'll start kinder next year. But I mean, the inputs are not very much. I mean, he hangs out. Obviously, he plays with his toys. We interact with him. We teach him some things, but there's not that, like, just steady flow of, what you're going to get in the classroom. So I wonder if that's part of it too. Another part too that was very interesting, that just popped in my head, was the part about the screen time, and how much how different there was in the results, where the human factor, compared to that part on the TV where they weren't learning anything. And I know this TED Talk I think it was from about 2010. So I would be curious to see kind of where that's evolved from there, because I mean, a lot has changed in 11, 12 years, in technology and techniques for teaching our kids and things like that. I mean, you see that there's, with the abundance of tablets, iPads and Kindles and things like that. There's abundance of learning, materials and things like that. So I think the one I saw on a commercial recently was called, like, Osmo. Basically, that's like you put, like, a little piece on top of your tablet, and it kind of picks up what you're doing down below. So you're also interactive. You're seeing something on a screen, but then you're also interactive, and what you're doing in front of you down here is picked up by the little monitor, and it shows you on here. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But anyways, so I think I'll leave it with that. I would just like to see kind of where we've progressed from there. And if there's any further studies that are going to be done, but definitely thought it was very, very interesting. And hey, hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.